Well, there's no doubt about who's going to be the dude for Wednesday's show. This is a no-brainer, clear-cut choice. The dude who abided the most for Tuesday, Lucas Giolito.
Sometimes there's a man, I won't say a hero, because what's a hero? But sometimes there's a man, and I'm talking about the dude here. Sometimes there's a man, well, he's the man for his time and place.
That's right, Lucas Giolito threw the 19th no-hitter in Chicago White Sox history. Second only to LA Dodgers, by the way, who have 23. He struck out 13 batters, second straight performance that he struck out, lucky 13, having struck out 13 Tigers last week. But it all came down to the final at bat. Eric Gonzalez of the Buccaneers came up to the plate. He had a walk earlier in the game. The only guy to reach first base, Eric Gonzalez. So this could be the guy. This always happens. One guy comes back to bite you. And last week it was Eric Sogard, who's not a very hard-hitting player, right? Little guy. So maybe this Eric Gonzalez character would be the one to end it, right? Well, here's the pitch. And the hard hit liner. And oh, no, everything's fine. Adam Engel preserves the no-hitter. Congratulations to the White Sox and Lucas Giolito. A well-deserved no. I mean, this guy is funny, and he's got a lot of personality. He's got his own Twitch channel, so he's very open, and he's just a great dude. I'm really happy for this guy. And he happens to be an outstanding baseball player, so that's good news for your fantasy squad. If you had Lucas Giolito last night, you got to cherish having a no-hitter on your roster. Always a good time. Unfortunately, there's one slight bit of bad news, and that was Eloy Jimenez got so jacked up that he twisted his ankle in the celebratory post-game measures right there around the pitcher's mound. We don't know the extent of it at this time, and hopefully it's not too serious because it's being called just a twisted ankle right now. But it did remind me of this many moons ago. Remember this guy, Kendrys Morales? It's a walk-off grand slam to win it for the Angels. What an exciting time. How could it be any more exciting than this? Wow, I just hit a walk-off grand slam. I'm so jacked. I'm so excited. Here I come. Mob me. Love me. I'm the best. And then, Kendrys Morales ends up having a horrible leg injury that ruined his season. You talk about extreme highs and extreme lows. This is the example. This is the textbook example of how quickly life can change like that. Heartbreaking. Eloy Jimenez will probably be fine. A twisted ankle's not that serious. I'm sure it won't be as devastating as what happened to Kendrys Morales when he was lost for the season after that unfortunate faux pas. Anyways, this is RotoFanatic.com's Quality Start for August 26th, Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about, of course. We got fantasy players who are coming and going and stinking up the joint and also doing wonderful things on the field. Unfortunately, a few of them have conclusively failed. So we'll talk about those players. We'll also take a look at comparable value. We got the trade deadline coming up here in a few days. And a lot of teams have some tough decisions to make about who do they let go? Who do they hang on to? How do you get that maximum value? You want comparable value on your return. So we'll look at a few players who are in the rumor mill. Why don't we start the show?
Utah, give me two.
One man stood out for double dongs yesterday, and he's in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I hadn't heard from him in a while. Yes, it's the old man, Brandon Belt, the elusive one, the talented one who never quite cashed in on so much potential that I at least thought he had. But last night, he certainly had a fun evening. 4 for 5, 5 RBI, 2 home runs. What a night for a man who has a lot of talent, can get on base with the best of them, but has just always been inconsistent or hurt. Congratulations, Mr. Belt.
Utah, give me two.
Usually we do the Utah, give me two, for double dongs, but last night we had 3 players steal at least 2 bases. Check this out. This is Trevor Story stealing a base. Look at that. Not a very good throw. He stole 2 bags. So did Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland baseball team. I've been surprised by the amount of double baggers in this season. Trevor Story and Jose Ramirez both did it last night. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Nick Solak did it in the same game last month. But John Berti of the Miami Marlins is about to top all of them. Let's set the stage. This is John Berti drawing a walk from Furis Familia. It's 2-0 Miami in the first game of a doubleheader. And here goes Berti stealing second base without a challenge from the catcher. So far, so good. Now here's Berti again, stealing third base. J.D. Davis wasn't even close to the bag. Watch the replay here. It's a Little League-style delayed steal. Look at this. I don't know how he pulled that off. Very impressive. But now here it is. The cherry on top.
And Berti on his way home, he kind of slipped, and he's in there safely. The ball came loose from Sanchez, and Berti steals all the way around the bases.
This was truly an incredibly unique moment. I mean, look at this. He waits for the catcher to throw it back, and then he goes, and then he stumbles like a doofus, and somehow the ball falls out of the mitt because it was poorly thrown by Familia. Look at this again. He stumbles in. He should have been out by a mile. This should have been an embarrassing ending, but yet he got it done. He stole all the way around the bases.
He left us. He left us.
But that's not what I'm gonna do.
Here's the remains from Tuesday. Another sad day as this epidemic in the game continues. Left on base. Victor Reyes of the Tigers joining the list for the first time. Vladdy Guerrero, too bad. Joe Adell has really struggled since he got called up. And hey, even JT Realmuto's human. Who'd have thunk?
Put that coffee down.
Coffee's for closers only.
Ah, yes, who gets coffee? Only closers. Unfortunately, Kenley Jansen was not a closer last night. He blew the save against the Giants by giving up a game-tying home run in a 6-5 game. Very disappointing. Though we shouldn't be too hard on him, though, because it was his first blown save of the season. Daniel Bartz had back-to-back saves for the Rockies, as Jairo Diaz has not been getting the save opportunities recently. And Josh Hader has been a stud, getting his 7th save of the year last night against the Reds. And Ed Garcia got his first career Major League save. So hats off to the latest Ray to get a save.
I love rumors. Facts can be so misleading. Were rumors true or false are often revealing.
Yeah, rumors, man, they're everywhere. But sometimes there's a little bit of substance to a rumor. It happens. Zach Plesac of the Cleveland baseball squad looks to be the odd man out in the whole situation with him and Mike Clevinger. Mike Clevinger is back today. He's going to be pitching for Cleveland on the bump. So he's been forgiven. Everybody forgot about it. Hey, who cares? You know, you try to jeopardize the health of players. Yeah, who cares? It's old news, right? That doesn't matter anymore because you're going to help us win, and that's what matters most. And it is a baseball team, and the bottom line is try to win the most games. So I understand it. You got to move past it. I'm all about forgiveness, too. So I say, hey, Mr. Clevinger, Sunshine, I forgive you. Let's move forward with an open mind. Clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose, right? Unfortunately for Zach Plesac, he's still left down at the alternate training site. And the rumors are that he will be the one to be traded if a trade goes down. Now, it's possible this could be a showcase for Clevinger. So anything's in play. No matter what you hear, you can't trust everything, and you can hardly take notice of the fact that Zach Plesac is kind of getting screwed here a little bit. I mean, what did he do differently than Mike Clevinger? It's probably because Clevinger's more talented? Yeah, but they both have team control for a couple more years, so I don't know. This is I feel bad. I feel a little bit bad for Zach Plesac. Is that crazy? Yeah, maybe I'm a weirdo. Anyway, stay tuned on that. If you have Plesac in a dynasty league, maybe he'll go to a team that will play him every day, and you can reap the benefits. But as far as redraft goes, I would assume Plesac has been on the waiver wire for a while now. Dylan Bundy.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Great pitcher. He's really having that season right now that everybody's waiting for so many moons. I have waited a long time to see this. Dylan Bundy cashing in on that talent. I'm so excited. He's finally doing it this year. A little bit of a bogus start here and there, but overall the numbers are outstanding. That slider is devastating. The whole pitch mix has been keeping hitters off balance. But the problem is, the Angels stink. They're terrible. I mean, they're not good at all. They're dead last in the AL West. They have nothing to play for. Even if they try to make a run right now, it seems highly unlikely they would be able to do so. So Dylan Bundy's name's been mentioned a lot as a possible trade candidate. Problem is, he's not a free agent yet, so they still have another year with Bundy. And if they like him a lot, why would they want to get rid of him? So the rumor out there is that maybe the Braves would be the ones to get Dylan Bundy. Now, the Braves have a lot of young assets, and the Angels farm system stinks. Besides Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh, those are good players, but otherwise, not a lot going on there. So it's very possible that maybe this will be a match. And if Dylan Bundy goes to the Braves, that's got to be good news for Mr. Bundy's perspective and his possible outlook going forward. The problem is he would also be playing against the AL East, where he was tortured as a Baltimore Oriole. And that's not good either. So I'd like to see him stay in California, and hopefully that remains the case. And lastly, Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is on the Reds, and the Reds are in a weird situation because they're not good, but they're not terrible, but they're a couple of games out of the last playoff spot right now. But they're very close. They could easily still make the playoffs. And Bauer's going to be a free agent after the season. If they want to trade him, then the rotation is going to take a hit. You still got Sonny Gray. You got Luis Castillo. You got Disco Tony. I mean, they got some pitchers on that staff. The problem is Bauer could walk away. So if you want to get something and you don't think you're going to re-sign him, you know how that goes. You got to play that dance. So Trevor Bauer is on a team with a lot of uncertainty going into this week. The trade deadline is coming up next Monday. Clock's ticking. So the Reds need to start winning real fast. Otherwise, Bauer could be in play at the deadline. Who knows?
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
Failed conclusively. Conclusively failed is a harsh term, and I admit that freely. However, fantasy managers have high expectations of certain players, and they have reasons for that. Some fantasy managers are just completely clueless, and they have the most ludicrous reasons why they like a player. It's usually tied up in emotions, and it makes no sense, and basically they're wasting their time. But the smart fantasy manager knows the information, the stats, the deep data tells you that a player is going to perform based on several indicators. In this case, all the players you're about to see have conclusively failed so far. I mean, when you poop the bed, you poop the bed. It's obvious. Everybody can see it. So why deny it? Accept your failure, accept that you did it, and try to move forward and maybe rebuild. So let's take a look at some of these players, in my opinion, so far have conclusively failed. So here's the list. So far, these players have conclusively failed. I'm going to show you a few reasons why this is the case. And it's without a doubt that these people have failed to this point. Now, there's always a chance for change, and I am not writing off anybody. But right now, what we've seen allows me to say with great confidence that so far these people have conclusively failed. Here are the current leaders in barrels per batted ball event percentage. Mitch Moreland, Miguel Sano, Luke Voigt, 25% or so. And here's the people at the bottom, 0, 1%. You'll notice a name there, Kevin Newman, coming at number 12 at 0%. Newman has been atrocious in StatCast numbers, and if you look at the top, you will see our very own Crosby Spencer's projections and difference of value for Kevin Newman. And that red with the 3.84 is really bad, and that means that there is not an expectation that what he's doing is an aberration and that he will get better going forward. No, he might even get worse. This next lonesome blue chart is the responsibility of Jonathan VR. Jonathan VR has not been good. Sure, he's got 9 stolen bases, but that does not account for the fact that he is hitting a lot more ground balls this season, 10% more to be exact, while his line drive percentage has gone down 6%. And when you throw in that he's chasing a bunch more in 2020, and he's making less contact when he chases in 2020, this is a recipe for a guy who is striking out a lot more and certainly does not stand to meet some of the goals he met in the power numbers of last season at Camden Yard. This last one is kind of a twofer. Expected batting average is the category on the far right, and these are the worst people in the league that qualify. Gary Sanchez, number 2, Justin Upton, number 3, are the focus of my ire right here. This is the Gary Sanchez breakdown of ground ball percentage versus fly ball percentage. And look at that. In 2020, his ground balls have gone up by 10%, and his fly balls have gone down by 12%. That is bad news for Gary Sanchez. So how on earth could you be surprised that he has a K percentage of 41, creeping on 42, and an expected batting average of 150? He has 5 home runs to offer, and that's about it. As for Upton, these are his stats. You see the purple bluish stuff on the ex-Wobicon and the K percentage? Those are bad. That means he's struggling to make contact, and there's not an expectation that he will do anything of relevance power-wise. And when you look inside his batted ball results, you see that his pop-ups have increased a fair amount, but the line drives have gone down about 10%. Though he's trying to lift the ball more with fly balls, some of those end up being pop-ups. So that's no good. And now it's time for This Day in Fantasy History for August 26. This Day in Fantasy History for August 26th features 4 doubles in one game. One guy bagged 4 deuces. That's pretty cool. And it happened 2 years ago by a guy that had a really unlikely season, and he really hasn't performed quite like that since. Yeah. You want to know who it is? Well, everybody does. We're dying to know. Plus, Ichiro's in this one, and anytime you can throw Ichiro Suzuki into the mix, that's a good day. So let's pay tribute to some fantasy studs from once upon a time right now. Diddle-oo, diddle-oo, diddle-oo. 2004, August 26th. Ichiro Suzuki becomes the only player to collect at least 200 hits in each of his first 4 seasons in the majors. Very impressive. Ichiro was the best. One of my favorite players of all time. How can you not love Ichiro? He could have hit 40 home runs if he wanted to. On this date 2 years ago, Cardinals first baseman Matt Carpenter tied an 81-year-old franchise mark when he hit 4 two-baggers in the team's 12-3 rout of the Rockies at Coors Field. Joe Ducky Medwick established a record hitting 4 two-baggers against the Boston Bees in 1937. And on this date, 1999, in his 29th start, Randy Johnson, the big unit, got his 300th strikeout in record time, surpassing Pedro Martinez, who had reached the milestone in 31 starts in 1997. The big unit reached a plateau when he whiffed Kevin Millar to end the 5th inning of a 12-2 victory over the Marlins, en route to finishing the season with 364 strikeouts.